Hi everyone, I'm Diksha and I welcome you all to this YouTube video. And I'm really excited for today's one because I thought of doing something new and I thought that why shouldn't I pick some of my favorite poems, and I am going to tell you about their poets and I'm going to tell you about the poems, and I think these are the poems that you should definitely read in March. So I'm going to start with the first poem and I hope you watch the video until the end and I hope you enjoy every poem. So the first poem is by Emily Dickinson. She's one of my favorite poets, and the poem is called Dear March, Come In. So I'm going to recite this poem for you. Dear March, come in. How glad I am. I hope for you before. Put down your hat, you must have walked. How out of breath you are. Dear March, how are you? And the rest. Did you leave nature well? Oh March, come right upstairs with me. I have so much to tell. I got your letter and the birds. The maple never knew that you were coming. I declare how red their faces grew. And March, forgive me. All those hills you left for me to hew. There was no purpose suitable. You took it all with you. Who knocks that April? Lock the door. I will not be pursued. He stayed away a year to call when I am occupied, but trifles look so trivial. As soon as you have come, that blame is just as dear as praise, and praise as mere as blame. So this poem was called Dear March, Come In, and it is by Emily Dickinson. She was an American poet, and let me tell you something about her, that she was born on 10th of December in Amherst, and she is really very famous poet. And one of the most interesting thing about her is that her first volume of work was published posthumously after she died in 1890. And in the poem, she's talking about the arrival of spring and how she's excited that the weather is going to change, and the waiting for spring to arrive as welcoming like a long waited guest that she was waiting for, and spring is going to come and going to change many things, and the winter is going to change and whole winter is going to go. So this poem is very beautiful yet very simple for March, and I really love it. Okay, so it's time for the next poem, and it's called The Orange by Wendy Coop. At lunchtime I bought a huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters and I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do. Just lately, the shopping, a walk in the park, this is peace and contentment. It's new. The rest of the day was quite easy, and I did all the jobs on my list and enjoyed them and had some time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist. So this is another very beautiful and yet very simple, very amazing poem called The Orange by Wendy Coop. And let me tell you something about Wendy Coop. So she is a contemporary English poet, and this poem is an celebration of small ordinary things in our life that we often overlook because we are so busy waiting for big moments and waiting for things that will somehow alter our life. And this poem is one of my favorite, and I always read it whenever I'm feeling low, whenever I come across it anywhere on the internet or in the book, and it is just so simple, and I think like everybody should know about this poem. It's really amazing. Okay, so this is the next poem, and it's called Forget About Enlightenment by John Welford. Forget about enlightenment and sit down wherever you are and listen to the wind singing in your veins. Feel the love, the longing, the fear in your bones. Open your heart to who you are right now, not who you would like to be, not the saint you are striving to become, not the being right here before you, inside you and around you. All of you is holy, and you are already more and less than whatever you can know. Breathe out, touch in, and let go. So this is another poem that I really like, and I'm really happy that I got to recite it for you because it is a very simple and yet very meaningful poem that I think whenever somebody reads it and they get to know about the meaning behind the poem is really simple, is really trying to be right in the moment and not trying to worry about the future and everything. And let me tell you about the poet now. So the poet is an American clinical psychologist, psychotherapist, and teacher and author, and he is known for his integrating psychological and spiritual concepts in his work. So it's really an amazing poem. Now the next poems, the two poems are going to be by my favorite poet, and she's Mary Oliver. So let me recite the first poem. It's called Don't Hesitate. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind. Man much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back. That sometimes something happens better than all the riches and power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb. Let me tell you something about Mary Oliver, that she's an American poet and she also won Pulitzer Prize in 1984, and she found her inspiration in nature and had a lifelong habit of solitary walks in the wind. So her poems are really very simple and very beautiful, and I really like to read them whenever I get a chance. Now the last poem is going to be The Journey by Mary Oliver. One day you finally knew what you had to do, and began, through the voices around you, keep shouting their bad advice, through the whole house began to tremble, and you felt that old tug at your ankles. Man, my life, each voice cried, and you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. And through the wind pried, with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, through their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of cloud, and there was a new voice which you slowly recognized as your own, and that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. So this is a collection of 5 poems that I chose to recite for you for March, and I think these poems are very simple and get very amazing, very special, and I always read them and I find them so amazing, and I hope you have also enjoyed them. And I think I also enjoyed reciting all the poems for you, and these poems are amazing because you find inspiration in them. They're simple and you can just read them, and they always makes you happy. So I hope you have enjoyed the poems, and I hope you have watched the videos till the end, and I'm going to see you in my next one. And if you have any poems that you really like and also want me to read them, then please do tell me about them in the comments.